Hello? Hello? This is Sean Donahue. I am posting another promo for the show entitled The Talk Show. I gave it the name The Talk Show because I thought it was a very simple name and easy to remember. And the two gentlemen who hosted the show have agreed to keep that as the name. Now, the first conversation that these two gentlemen had was a very interesting conversation. Both gentlemen are nationalists. I mentioned that in the past. The first gentleman, the white gentleman, his name is William Daniel Johnson. You probably recognize William Daniel Johnson from CNN. He was the California Trump delegate who had to resign. The reason he had to resign is because of his political beliefs. He is a white nationalist, and the Trump campaign came under pressure to make him resign. The other gentleman, Mr. Barack Obama Mandela, he is a black nationalist. That is his real name. Mr. Mandela changed his name because he wanted to shed any connection that he had with the ancestral roots in white ownership. My understanding is that in his case it was Scottish ownership. So the two gentlemen are going to come together for a series of conversations. They have already come together for the second conversation. The second conversation is a very interesting conversation. It's about Back to Africa. The Back to Africa movement is, or was, a movement that began in the 60s, I think in the late 60s, had to do with segregation, had to do with the ending of segregation. The idea behind the Back to Africa movement is to create a black nation. It actually began back right after the end of the Civil War. The United States created colonies in Africa. Liberia was actually a U.S. colony. Liberia was a Back to Africa experiment. Freed slaves were sent back to Africa, and Liberia was going to be a black nation, a new start, a democracy. It never really worked out. The reason Liberia failed as a Back to Africa experiment is because there was not enough funding, and the economic foundation of Liberia never took off. Now, the two gentlemen didn't talk about that, but I'm assure you they know a lot about this subject. I'm going to go forward to show you their pictures again. Now, that's William Daniel Johnson. William Daniel Johnson was the Trump delegate. He is a practicing attorney in California. He's the white nationalist, and I'm going to show you the picture of the other gentleman. This is Mr. Barack Obama Mandela. Mr. Barack Obama Mandela is also a practicing attorney in California, and he uses the moniker or the title Black Power Nationalist. Both of these gentlemen are well-educated, well-trained professionals. They are very peaceful gentlemen. They are very intelligent gentlemen. And both gentlemen are approaching very difficult things, very difficult subjects to talk about, the subject of race in America. We most certainly have racial issues in America today. Humanity always has and always will have racial issues. Denying the presence of those issues does not in any way make them go away. They're very friendly towards each other, they're very diplomatic, and they know each other outside of this conversation because of their careers. Now, what I would like to do is encourage our local officials to sit down and meet with these guys and speak with these guys. I think that these two gentlemen are most certainly approaching the topic from a macro perspective. That has to do with their backgrounds as attorneys. The white gentleman, he was actually involved in drafting legislation back in the 70s to make the Back to Africa movement law in the United States and to avail funding so that there could be a black nation. Now, the black gentleman, Mr. Barack Obama Mandela, he served at very senior levels in the government of California. So the two gentlemen approach race issues from a macro perspective, from a policy perspective, and because of their background as attorneys, both gentlemen know that the issues of race are always going to be there. What I would really like to bring about is a series of discussions that include the two hosts of the show and also include local public officials from our area, because we are, of course, beginning to experience these problems. Now, we know that we just had a death in the prison. We don't know if that death of the prison guard was race related, but we do know that the general trend that we've been hearing about in the news is that there are a lot of race-related problems inside of the prison involving primarily race-based gang activity. These gentlemen have dealt with this stuff before. They have experience dealing with it at a legal level, at a policy level. I think it would greatly benefit our local officials to sit down and have conversations with these guys. Now, it will be very difficult to get local officials anywhere to sit down and have conversations with these two gentlemen about the difficult topic of race in America, race in the world. Still, I put an open invitation out to the three gentlemen that you see here on the screen. I won't go into detail as to who they are. If you're from Hazleton and you're looking at the screen right now, you, as do I, know who these three gentlemen are. Hopefully they'll contact me. Hopefully they will email me. My email is SeanDonahue630@gmail.com, SeanDonahue 630@gmail.com. Yeah, you could email me, they could email me, and we'll try to set up a show with them appearing with William Daniel Johnson and with Mr. Barack Obama Mandela. I hope that you will listen to the second broadcast. It's a great discussion, and I hope that you will start to tune in for the broadcast that follow that. They will be broadcast live over YouTube, that is, which is a Google company, on my YouTube. My YouTube page is Sean Donahue without the middle initial, just Sean Donahue. All you have to do is go to YouTube, search Sean Donahue, S-E-A-N space Donahue, and scroll down. There's a whole list of Sean Donahues on YouTube. Keep scrolling down until you see my picture. It's a picture of me wearing a black t-shirt. Over my left shoulder in the picture is a framed drawing of Army helicopters. Once you see that, that's me. Click on that, and you'll be able to find the pre-recorded videos, and you'll also be able to find the live stream if it's up. An easier way to get to the live stream is to go to my Google Plus page. I'm kind of new at Google Plus, but if you just search around on Google Plus for my name and you find me, it'll be the same picture. You can go on the Google Plus page and click on the live stream when it's available. But certainly you can gain access to it through YouTube. Now, what I'm hoping I can do in the future is that you'll be able to send me your questions, and I'll give those questions to William and to Barack, and they will answer those questions. I hope to be able to do that. I also hope to be able to have viewers call into the show. So if you're sitting at your laptop watching the show, you'll be able to send me an email, and I would send you a link, and then you would come into the video of the show, and you'd be able to ask them, and I would leave it up to you whether you want your picture, your video to be seen or not be seen. But if you have no problem with it, I would just bring you into the show, and you'd be able to ask them a question and or offer comments on the subject. And if you want to be on the show because you have some sort of expertise in race relations or political issues, or you've dealt with this in your career, whether it's as a public official or as a private citizen, then also contact me and I will try to set something up. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you will watch live the next time the show is broadcast. Thank you.